So, guys, speaking of Veilguard from our last topic, it's in the news. And apparently, or not apparently, EA CEO says Dragon Age of Veilguard failed to resonate with a broad audience. Gamers increasingly want shared world experiences because that is what would save the Veilguard from utter destruction of Bioware. You guys played it and you both enjoyed it fairly well.
Not fairly well, very well.
Okay, very well.
Yeah, loved the game.
Apparently, it didn't work out, which I think happens a lot. I think there are a lot of games who they find an audience, but for something that's like AAA title, it's got to be like a massive hit all the time with the amount of money that they put into it and stuff. And because of this, BioWare is losing potentially half of its people from 200 to 100.
Yeah, they moved them to. Did they move them to other places? Or they fired them. I can't remember.
I thought they moved them.
And they moved them.
Yeah, but I think it's. I know they fired all of the writing team, and
that's going to hurt Mass Effect too, because that's like a freaking small ass team.
Yeah,
making Mass Effect. It's like 100 people. It's not a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think BioWare was really counting on this being something special, and they really wanted to bring back, this IP. And I don't know what's going to happen to it going further, but now what's on the horizon is Mass Effect, the new Mass Effect, and they kind of really need this to be successful. So I would figure it'd be all hands on deck, but given the situation that we're in, what do you guys think they need to do to pull off a banger for Mass Effect? I know you guys enjoy Dragon Age, but obviously certain things of that is just not resonating with players. So what do you guys want to see with Mass Effect, and how can they bring back BioWare to be something special?
I think the only way they can do it is just keep the core value of Mass Effect instead of changing it like they did with Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Like, that's what fucked it up. Hands down, like I said before, I played the last Dragon Age Inquisition, and I didn't enjoy it personally because it wasn't my style of game. Yeah. Great game, not my style of game.
It's dated,
but with
too.
it's very dated. But with this new Dragon Age, I actually really enjoyed it because of what it was. The gameplay mostly. The storyline was interesting. Some of the side characters, like Tosh, did not enjoy her at all. But I think they drastically changed it so much that they excommunicated their fucking fan base from that game.
Yeah.
So I think with the new Mass Effect, they don't need to go that same route. Don't change it. Don't change it that much, Don't fucking change it at all, really. Just continue the story. So
I think a lot of people were saying that with Veilguard, if you're new to this series, you'll probably enjoy it more than the people who have stuck with it this whole time. Which I feel like there's a balance. There's a good balance for that. I feel like God of War did a pretty good job.
I don't know. I don't think there's a balance. I don't think there's a balance at all with something like this. Because their fan base is so big. You're saying God of War, but God of War between 2018 and the last God of War, that was a big gap. That was a huge gap. And that needed an updated, but they still kept the core value of the characters, the storyline, and all that. Mm-hmm. That is its own entity right there. But with BioWare, with Dragon Age, I mean, you can't fucking basically do a whole 360.
Oh, you're right.
And
because everyone thought God of War was done. Yeah, and they came and rebooted it, but everyone's been waiting for Dragon Age.
Which, interesting fact on God of War, they were going to continue with the same stuff, right? And Kratos was going to meet the other two God of Wars from the Egyptian and the Norse. And at the very end of the game, they wipe out all the gods, and they were going to be the three wise men that went to Jesus Christ.
I think that would have been a great story.
Yeah.
What's also interesting is it seems like it was a bigger gap, but God of War Ascension to God of War Reboot was only a 5-year.
Well, here's your thing. Ascension was a prequel.
Yeah.
Right. I'm talking about God of War 3 to continue the storyline.
Still less time than Dragon Age Inquisition and
Really?
Dragon Age Veilguard. Yeah.
Wow.
It was that was an 8-year span. Which I mean,
10.
I understand. I get you. I see your point, but looking at it though, it actually was less time than the other one. But I think it was also different in that. I mean, you still I feel like the core of of Kratos was, although he became more mature and whatever, the tone was still there.
Yep.
And tonally, Dragon Age Inquisition to Veilguard is, I think, different.
Very different.
You know? And I think that's where, and I also think
it's like going from Dark Souls to Fortnite. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think part of that's BioWare's fault for being so, shifting it so much. But I think part of that also is to blame on the community and that they reacted so harshly so quickly without giving it a chance to give it, because Travis is like one of the biggest Dragon Age fans in the world, but he saw people hating on it. He's like, nah, fuck that game. I'm not going to play it. And it's like, I can see that perspective, but I would want to give my perspective of it before I especially something that I love so much.
Yeah.
Give it my opinion, not other people's opinions about the thing that I'm consuming and stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, BioWare still screwed up, as they should have known what their fans wanted and what they needed, and what their fans wanted was more Dragon Age. And they got more Dragon Age, but packaged in something that was different. It's like, I don't know. To
me, it was extremely different.
Yeah.
Like even the choices you made in there, didn't really affect any of the characters, or the story arc, or anything. So along with that, the replayability is not there for me for this game at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
What's sad is that in 2017, Mass Effect Andromeda came out to horrible reception. They did Anthem in 2019, which it was super hype and obviously did not end well for them. Then they had Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which probably did really good, and then they come to Veilguard. So they haven't had much success
in a long time.
Since at least 2017, because Inquisition came out in 2014. So if you want to go all the way back there, then yeah, it's been since 2014. They really haven't done much. So they're draining way more money than they are bringing back, because they don't have games as a service games. They literally have single player games.
Yeah.
So if you're not knocking it out of the park every time, I mean, what are you doing?
I mean, you were saying earlier, what does BioWare need to make Mass Effect to bring them back? I think at this point, BioWare just needs to be shut down. That's a bold statement, but it's Dragon Age and Mass Effect both are properties that I didn't really have the affinity of Dragon Age, but Mass Effect I had a lot of affinity to, and I loved it. And there was a time where it was great, but it's not the same BioWare that it was back then. And it's at the amount of misses that they've had at this point, they're just not seeing the right thing, and all the talent that saw the right things has now gone to other places. And if you've 3 strikes you're out kind of idea, it's maybe we just shut it down. And I saw one of the old writers or something of Dragon Age that said based off the negative response of Veilguard, they were like, well, this is your game now. This is the fans' game, because there's still fan art. There's still people out there creating stories in that world. It's will we see another Dragon Age? Probably not. But, it's something that, let's move on to something else and work on something new, and then put those teams in different places where they can be creative again with some new property and bring something new to the table, and not, again, going back to I hate that people are doing so many remakes and rebuilds of things. I think this is a point in time where it's I don't think there is another chance for them. I think if they do a Mass Effect, unless they hit it out of the park, they might do some crazy, huge, amazing thing. But I'm okay if there's not another Mass Effect. I'm okay if there's not another Dragon Age. Give me something new and exciting that I can, that's inspired by that, but doesn't have to be that name.
I mean, it's the same problem with the movie industry. Let's just rehash new things.
I call bullshit on wanting a shared world. That's the reason why it failed. That's fucking horseshit. Who came out with that?
Horseshit.
IGN?
That was Andrew Wilson that said that. Yeah, so Andrew Wilson basically said
he's
that
mentally
he thinks
challenged.
That's why.
No, that's not why. That's not why at all. Shared world, my asshole. Fuck
well,
off.
it's what game recently has had a shared world that's done good?
I don't know. I
can't even think of a game. Well, I guess there's games that have done good. There's plenty of open world games that are shared, but they're multiplayer focused. So
yeah. And what
they tried Anthem. That was a shared world.
That's what I was about to say. Fucking go back to Anthem. Make Anthem 2.0. Make it better. I don't fucking know.
Because he's the one who was talking about live service was the future and stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah, they were doing that for a while.
Yeah.
That's not the reason why this game failed. That is 100% not the reason why this game failed. If he's that like ignorant to the fucking world and not seeing the actual reviews for the game, he's putting blame on bullcrap.
Well, I mean, that's what he wants. Like, that's what I mean. They've been pushing for live service games for longer than.
Well, this isn't a reason to fucking push for it.
I know.
That's not why Dragon Age Veilguard failed.
Yeah.
It's like in this is pulled from the article a little bit, but they said the Veilguard struggled to capture a broad audience in a competitive market, facing stiff competition from titles like Baldur's Gate 3 and Dragon's Dogma 2. Neither of those, I mean, yeah, you can play Baldur's Gate co-op, but neither of those are really shared world experiences. The reason why they were so good was not that it was a shared world. The reason why they were so good is they had rich characters, rich storytelling, massive player choice, like worlds that you wanted to be a part of and live in and you know, excel in and stuff. And like, I think Veilguard did that in some capacities, but they didn't sell it the right way. You know, it's like it wasn't
Veilguard, you couldn't
in
really be bad, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it couldn't be bad.
But in Baldur's Gate 3, you can destroy the world now.
Yeah.
And there's some pretty horrific scenes that I've seen
Yeah,
that have come out. I'm like, whoa, if you want to go that way, you can. And that's how Bioware used to be. Like, you always had the choice to be really good or really bad.
And the shared world experience is just a bonus. It's not his main, like Brett was saying, it's not his main goal at the end of the day. And if they're trying to change that to their main goal, then Mass Effect's already failed. They're going to fuck up Mass Effect. That's the game we're hoping will bring BioWare back. It's already fucked if they're in that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Did y'all play Andromeda?
I heard it was bad.
Played a little bit.
Never played it.
Yeah.
5 hours.
It was real buggy. And there's a lot of issues. Y'all can look it up. It's been a minute. But I recently played it again, and I was like, obviously it's a little dated, but I don't know if I like the Mass Effect gameplay anymore. The way that you have like the stop. And
I feel like it's kind of stiff.
Yeah. There's just a lot of like, the flow of it is different. And I don't think it's something that we have grown out of. So I feel like if they go in trying to please, you know, like past Mass Effect, like just Mass Effect stuff, like putting that in there, I don't know how it's going to be in the end. Like, I don't know if it'll be as successful. And I don't know if there's people who are just as adamant about Dragon Age are going to be the same way about keeping Mass Effect the same way.
Well, I mean, the same way, the tone the same way, not the fucking... The gameplay, it can change. It can change. That's what they need to focus in on is the gameplay. The tone and the storytelling shouldn't change.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, because like, I mean, Veilguard did have that same kind of like pause, you know, effect for like, you know, commanding your team to like do different things. And I thought that system worked really well. It was flexible and it was not, and you could either pause time to select what you want to select, or you have like quick actions you can do and stuff. And they did a good job with that whole design of that aspect of it. So I can see that I've seen them evolve it for Veilguard, and they could evolve that same probably into Mass Effect. But really, the core of what Mass Effect needs to be is it's got to have really rich characters. It needs to have a really exciting story that starts off really strong and gives you like what is my end, like big journey focus point, you know, of like what's the big thing that I need to be working on, and have a bunch of side stories that like pull you off of that main path, and then choice that actually impacts what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like those are the things you need to focus on. Everything else doesn't matter as long as you get that right. I mean, you can change your art style if you want to. Like I'd be okay as long as that game did what it needed to do with those 4 pillars, you know, but I worry the shared world and the deeper engagement. Like I don't necessarily want more. I guess in that sense, like that might relate to like the crafting mechanics. I know Travis was really upset about not having all the dense, deep crafting, which I was okay that it wasn't there because I don't like that as much. But maybe there's some of that aspect of like getting deep into like your character customization that lets you like really like finite adjust your character, which is, you know, par for the course in an RPG kind of thing. But sure, that can exist, but I don't think that should be like the focal point with it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the way they think Dragon Age was a failure because they think the game was bad. I think Dragon Age was a failure because of how they how they presented the game with the art style being the first thing, and then how very quickly people jumped on the whole Tosh non-binary thing, and that blew up real crazily. It was death by community more than it was death by, like, the game wasn't bad. It was a really good game. It's just people latched onto the wrong things, and it just spiraled out of control, and then we bought it.
You gotta admit, the Tosh missions are fucking pointless.
Oh, they're so bad. Like,
so bad.
Exclude that. Exclude her. Like, I just
sit down. You fucking go to the mission point just to sit down, have a cutscene, and then you leave.
have dinner with her.
Have dinner with her mom and stuff. And I did 5 missions with her like that, where you just sit down and have a conversation. I was like, why did I even come over here? I have more important shit to fucking do right now, like kill 3 dragons. Like,
what do you want from me? What was the necromancer's name? Emmerich.
Emmerich. Yeah.
Like, his stuff also had some of those moments where you're just like conversating.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because like you were walking through the cemetery and hearing his like his rise to be a lich. You know, sorry, spoiler, but he has his rise to like become what he wanted, and like his struggles that he's had throughout his life. Like, that was good and that was interesting and that was real. Mm-hmm. But like, Tosh was such this big, huge, bulky character who was acting like a child.
Yeah.
The entire time. I'm like, you're not. I don't believe you. I don't believe you're a real character. You know, like I just can't see that. You know, so it's just that was unfortunate.
And plus, not having sex till towards the end of the game pissed me off.
Dude, my sex scene was so shitty.
It was super shitty. No nudity.
50 hours in, and all I did was like, oh, you look so pretty. And then the next day, it's like, you know, we're still have our clothes on, and that's all it is.
Wait, you didn't go in the bedroom?
We did go in the bedroom. There was no sex that happened.
I mean, it was sex, but it was off screen. So
that is a far departure from Bioware games.
Yeah, I wanted to fuck everything.
Who was that girl in Mass Effect the Mass Effect 2, the brunette?
Dang it, I forgot her name.
That was a great scene.
Mandra?
No.
Miranda.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's not brunette, is she? I thought she was black hair.
She had black hair, yeah.
Dark hair. One of the two. I can't remember.
So currently Veilguard is sitting at mixed on Steam with 35,000.
The gameplay's fun, you know. Some of the story beats are good, but majority of them are just not that great, especially the little side missions.
I think some of the side missions were pretty. The side missions actually for me were pretty good. Some of the character side missions.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. I got you.
I really enjoyed the gameplay. I was fucking digging it, you know. Felt powerful when I needed to feel powerful. Fucking
fighting off them dragons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a 79 open critic rating. It's not terrible.
So it's average.
Yeah.
But will I revisit it? No.
Yeah, it's uninstalled for me.
Yeah, I need to take it back to GameStop.
Well, then you had the creative director, Veilguard, leave the company, which is another big thing.
Well, I mean, I could see that, though.
I really wish they called it Dreadwolf.
Okay,
too.
I did my time. I finished what I want to do. Let me move on to other things, you know? So I don't think that's like a... This was one of the dominoes. It's like, I think he was just like, I finished this game. Let's try something else. Move on to another company.
Normally, you stay there and do more to try to make it go further. And obviously, people can put whatever notions into that, but I think in the past, normally you just stay there and continue making a few games, and then eventually you're like, okay, I'm done.
And there's also in-game content either in this game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Thinking about that.
Yeah, it takes you back to before.
There's no in-game content.
Oh, yeah,
it's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. So I didn't love that.
Yeah.
But it's still great. 60 hours, you know, definitely was.
Yeah.
I still don't know how you put over 100 hours in this game.
I had a shit ton of side missions, and I don't think you got them all.
No, I 100%ed it.
Yeah, but doesn't some side missions open depending on your choices?
Oh, yeah, a few, but like not, I mean, how much of that? I mean, I was at 92% trophy collected at the end of it, too. So
I don't know.
Or 89 or something. I was like over 85% of the trophies.
I don't know.
Stuff, so
fuck, I don't know, dude.
It was crazy.
I don't know.
It was like my friend at work was also saying the same thing, and she was like over 100 hours. I'm like, I have no idea how. Like, I think I got all the shit. I was like freaking balling, level 50, maxed out early in the game. It was like, boom, wah.
Dragon Age.
Anyway, I don't know. It was crazy, but yeah, I don't know what's next for BioWare. I really think that I'm honestly surprised they haven't, with all these people shutting studios down and stuff like that. I'm surprised they haven't. Not that I want any studio to get shut down and people to lose their jobs, but I'm surprised that they're still pushing this one forward as much as they have with the misses that they've had thus far collectively, so I don't know what's keeping it around. I mean, the name is huge, obviously. I mean, it's a big name, but the name is getting more and more tarnished as time goes on.
I'm surprised some of these companies just don't sell these IPs off.
Yeah,
I guess it looks bad if you do that. You're like, oh, I mishandled it, and I guess that's like a bigger thing to sell something like that off, because you have to talk to the board and blah, there's all this backroom stuff.
Well, Baldur's Gate 3 is that was the first IP that went from BioWare to Larian, so
that's true.
Yeah,
but Wizards of the Coast owns that.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's the game rights move from person to person.
It seems like a lot of people, just reading articles now, seems like a lot of people don't have hopes for Mass Effect at all. Especially
given their track record.
Yeah, well, they're mostly going off of what the CEO said. Is just like, the reason why Dragon Age failed because it wasn't live service, and everyone's like, don't fucking like I said, in that mindset, having that mindset already, I think they're fucked.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the same guy that fucked up Battlefield so many times. It's just like making wrong calls and like what people wanted. I mean, the whole reason we had those operators in Battlefield 2042 was probably because of him.
Yeah.
There's a battle pass in there that's because of him, which, I mean, DICE did do a good job with putting in a good battle pass when they were forced to do it. But like, yeah, it's just, he needs to be let go. Not those other 100 people that got moved around. Get rid of him instead.
Well, I just don't, I don't understand the people who, the stockholders or whatever, who are just like, or the board being like, we don't need a vote to see if this guy should stay or not. He's doing fine. He's wrecking the company. He's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything is awesome. Everything
cool.
is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome.
Unless you're part of BioWare.
Sorry, BioWare. We love you. We love you still.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
And Ubisoft? Shame.
Ubisoft.
Why Ubisoft?
Shame.
Shame.